Ooh.
That's a pretty
All right.
sick jacket, bro. That's hardcore.
Thank you.
No production.
That's
The
like-
person who gave it to me found it in a trash can.
What?
Yeah.
Did you wash it?
What? I didn't even wash it. No, I'm just kidding. I hope you
I
watched.
was gonna say like.
All right. Episode 2 of the Real Ones podcast. I think
We're
that's the name
back.
we're going with.
The real ones.
Welcome, Steven, the Salon guy.
Yep.
It's crazy how we met. Just through like peer space, and I think we kind of just like hit it off after like I saw the hospitality that you had. Like we came in there, you were like, "Oh, use the lights! Like I'll do this, I'll do that," and it was just really awesome.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, and I mean, I know we have a lot to talk about, and I'm super excited. Thank you guys for having me on, and I appreciate you paying the high rate to have me here. Anyway, no, I'm kidding. Full of bad jokes. I just spew out awful dry jokes the whole
We
time.
love
So
So Steven, the Salon guy is just crossed 1 million on YouTube. Does a lot of content. Great YouTuber, great content creator, great filmmaker, great hairstylist. So you do a lot.
I do a lot. Yeah, and to add to the list now, I'm also a professional golfer. I've been playing golf for. You play golf?
Yes,
I've been
do.
playing golf for probably 30-something years.
Wow.
And I joined into the PGA program like about a year and a half ago. And, as far as being a hairstylist, I'm kind of retired from seeing clients at this point, which sounds crazy because I turn away at least a dozen people a week that want to fly in from all over the place just for me to cut their hair. After doing it for so long, I'm like, I just want to shift my passion. I'm still going to run the Salon guy. I've got my hair product business. I got my YouTube channel. But I said, I got to do something else. So golf. I became a golf pro. Now I'm playing in golf tournaments. So at my studio where we would do all the filming, I transformed that into an indoor golf facility.
We gotta come by.
That's your.
It's called
that's your
Steve
facility.
DeGreen Golf.
Wow.
I just invested in
Know
a
about that?
TrackMan.
I was on your Instagram and I noticed.
Dude, I invested in a TrackMan. I mean, I'm trying to give lessons and all that. I mean, it's still kind of a side passion,
Yeah.
but also a business. But so yeah, I do a lot, man.
What made you like take the step back and like realize that like it wasn't making you happy anymore? Like taking clients or like even just like shifting your focus,
The thing is I don't want to say, I guess when you become so in demand from people, you become kind of like a slave to them in a sense, where you're getting text messages at all hours. Can I come in this time? Can I come in that time? And I really love these people. These are clients. I still have a handful of clients, but I must have stopped seeing, dozens and dozens and dozens of people. I've made a lot of people unhappy because I've been doing some of them for like 15, 20 years and keeping them looking beautiful, guys looking sharp. It just, I guess I said, I need to have a bit more flexibility and freedom with my own time. And the passion wasn't there as much. And also the money. I mean, even though I charge a high price for the haircuts, but still, it just wasn't really, the passion wasn't there as much. Now, doesn't mean I hate doing hair. I still have to do it. I have to do mannequins for my YouTube channel. I have to create content constantly. It's just, I want to be more in control of my time and not be like, and the less and less clients I see, the more it's like, why even do it? Because I should just, end it with these people,
Yeah.
Yeah,
But-
it's hard to get to that point too.
Yeah.
How would you explain like what helped you get to that point? Like,
Well, it's a simple, great question. When you get to that point of becoming so in demand and so busy, and all you're doing is trying to please other people, and then the second part of that, because that's a really interesting question, is that it's making a shift. You have to make sure that the shift you make is going to be a safe one from earnings, from just being able to survive, and I was able to do that. Clients for me, I almost feel like, you almost feel like you're maybe losing money in a sense, or it doesn't really make up for the time. Say for example, hypothetically, say I charge $50 for a haircut, right? I charge more, but say I charge $50 for a haircut, but normally I'd be making $400 or $500 an hour. It's like,
yeah,
it starts.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
the
saying.
opportunity cost.
Yeah, the opportunity cost, and also the labor of it.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just don't want to do it.
100%. And it's crazy because like when you're an entrepreneur, everyone thinks that you're your own boss. But when you have so many clients, they become your boss.
That's a better way of saying like you become a slave to it. They're your boss, and sometimes they're so demanding.
Yep.
And I'm like, I'm not really waking up Saturday morning at 7 a.m. thinking of your hair. You get the text message, hey, can I come in? And they're texting you 5:30 in the morning, 6 in the morning. I'm like, and I feel so bad because when they rely on you as the service that you provide to them, that you're keeping them looking good, sometimes that's all they see you as, and all the other stuff is in the background.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, well, there's gonna come a time where I just have to end it. I have to end it and focus on the content creation. Like, I'll see a couple of models. I'll create content for my YouTube channel. It's a different level of an experience, which is interesting. Doing hair on my YouTube channel is a very different experience than seeing a client. Two different, completely different things. Because when it's on YouTube, it's more educational. It's not so much as a experience for the client because they're just sitting there with all these lights and they're like, they get a great haircut. But with the haircut experience, it's a lot more personalized. It's you guys get haircuts. It's
more relaxing.
It's more intimate. It's more of this is what they're paying for. So
1 million subs. How does that feel?
I mean, honestly, it was a huge accomplishment and something I was just really wanting to get to that point. I almost feel like I can just stop doing YouTube because it was like, finally I hit 1 million. That was such a big goal of mine.
Yeah.
But I'm somebody who I'm pretty mellow with that kind of stuff. Some people would be going out getting like limousines and like going crazy and like bottle service and going nuts. And I was just like, all right, I hit 1 million. I said my prayers, thank God, and I was happy. And I said, I've made this accomplishment. And now I look at it as a goal that, awesome, I hit 1 million subscribers. I look at it as, yeah, it's super cool. Then I meet other people who are content creators and they have me on, and they're like worshiping me. Oh my God, 1 million subscribers. And they have like, 10K, 20, 1,000. And they're like, and I'm just like, hey man, I'm a creator just like you. I've just been in it for a much longer time.
How long have you been doing it?
About 14 years.
Exactly. 1 million subs to the people.
But there's also
the grind.
It is, but you can also have like a YouTube channel showcasing like your cat's doing tricks and get 1 million subscribers in 3 weeks. But I'm in it for the long term. Like my journey is so much more intense. Yeah. I mean, the stuff that I've done, most people would want to give up, man.
Yeah.
So where did you're at 1 million now.
Yeah.
Where did it start?
I mean, it started at 0. No, seriously, it started as I had a goal of one person. So years and years ago, the Salon Guy brand was created based off of being kind of tired of what I was doing. I was working for big companies and I was like, they're not going to do for me what I can do for myself. So I went on YouTube, looked up motivational speeches, came across Gary Vaynerchuk, right? You know him?
Yep.
Gary V. And he had this keynote. It was about like, stop doing stuff you hate. I was like, okay. And then he had a book called Crush It. I read the book Crush It. Whoever's listening, if there's one book that could literally tell you how to build a brand from day one, it's a little outdated. Yeah. Things have changed. But it literally, at that time, it was the book. How to turn your business or your passion into a business. Buy a video camera. Start going out to events. Start filming content. So I was like, well, I'm a hairstylist. What do I do? So I started creating videos about the salon industry. I wasn't even doing hair. So it was like how to give better customer service, how to find the right salon to work in. And somebody said, do you cut hair? And I was like, who wants to watch a bald guy cut hair on the internet? So clearly a lot of people. Yeah. So I started putting out hair videos, and then people were like, this is fascinating, this is incredible. That's how it started from the content side of things. Okay. Now, the Salon Guy was really, I don't know what it was. I was like, oh, am I a blog? I had no idea. This was all new. So.
What year was this?
Well, it was 14 years ago, so maybe 1990, 99 or so.
So it's the cusp of the internet.
Yeah, basically when like all that stuff, Facebook was just coming out. So I started filming videos, and then I said, I want to be a media personality. I want to be like the Ryan Seacrest of the salon industry. So I started going to events. And when I say events, I mean hair shows. Nothing crazy, but like hair shows. But I knew a lot of people in the industry because I was already working for other companies. So I'd go to hair shows with a microphone and a camera guy who I'd pay like, here's $20 for gas. And we would create these videos where I would interview people at hair shows. Then I would start interviewing companies at hair shows. It was all based around creating content, which was still so new. There were a few people doing it, but I wanted to be the personality. And then someone said, after some time, who was on a TV show, he goes, you need to be attaching yourself to something much bigger than you. Interviewing Bob, the salon owner, is not going to really get you too far. You know what I mean? Yeah. I said, like who? Like reality TV, celebrities, all people much bigger and popular than you. I said, how do I even do that? Yeah. And it's a little trade secret, but I don't mind sharing it. Pro tip. Well, and this was many, many years ago. But like, where do you meet celebrities? Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week, which was at the time that still was existing. Now it's just New York Fashion Week. Go and get a press credential and try to get into shows. The front row is literally a buffet of celebrities.
They're all celebrities.
And then if you can get backstage, then you get tied in with the designer. All these people are backstage.
Yeah.
Got my press credentials, brought my camera guy, walked in, and I was like, and my at the time he was my personal assistant. This guy Nino, him and I were like incredible together. We were animals. We worked so well together. He knew everyone in reality TV, every celebrity. He was just spotting them. He was the spotter.
So
He'd warm them up, get the camera ready, and I would just go to him with my mic, because sometimes you have 15, 20 seconds with these people.
yeah.
I know I'm rambling on and on, but this is literally the gem of it, is just selling myself to get an interview with a high name person, profile person. Then it went from Steven with Bob, the salon owner, to then, Regis, or filming the Kim Kardashian, or, Christina Ricci, or, all these actors and actresses. And then it went from there to reality TV. Then I was on reality TV. So the more people started seeing me because of me putting myself out there, which is the whole premise of the whole thing, building a brand, it started to happen. I became the Ryan Seacrest of it. Then I was on TV, and it was just a nonstop grind, man. But the last part of this, I was making no money, because I didn't know how to make money with my brand, until I started saying, okay, now I have all this publicity. I'm broke. I'm paying guys $20 to shoot video for me, or $100. And then I said, how do I start? And then people started coming to me saying, we want to hire you to make videos for our company at shows and stuff. Then I said, oh boy, now. So then I started realizing the Salon Guy is a business, but it took 5-6 years at least to figure that out, of just sweat equity. Then the money started coming in. People were hiring me left and right. Then it was the Salon Guy as the big media production guy, kind of what you're doing. But you guys are doing some big stuff. But I was doing it in my own space, working with. We did that one project with Dyson.
Yeah, it was crazy.
They're big.
Yeah,
they're
huge.
big. So, it was stuff like that. So,
Yeah, 100%. It's crazy too how you've transitioned through all the trends. Like you said, at first you're doing like reality TV, and then it would just be like the events, and now you're doing a different sort of like TikTok, YouTuber stuff. Like you're always staying on trend and staying in. How do you see the trends? Because you're always putting yourself in the right places.
Yeah, well, the trends I follow by just what's popular. With TikTok, I actually hated TikTok. I was like, I don't want to do it. A girl, Julia, remember, she was working for me. You have to be on TikTok. Even Gary Vee says be on TikTok. I'm like, okay, what do we do on TikTok? So finally, after seeing what TikTok could do, I started posting videos. And it was like hair content videos. I'm like, what even is trying to do dancing? I was like, what is it? What is TikTok? I hate it. Until, and this is the key, another key pro tip gem here, is finding what works, your niche, right, on TikTok. What I do now, my highest viewed video is 22 million views on TikTok. And I have, if I'm getting 10,000, 15,000, 20,000, that's awful. I'm averaging hundreds of thousands of views on TikTok, but I found my niche, and it's literally doing 5 to 6, 7 second quick hair tutorial videos, find a good song, and that's it. What happens is people keep watching it over and over again. They keep sharing it over and over again. That's how I found my niche. Once you find what works and you start to get those big views, you got to focus on that. I see so many people who are actually fairly popular getting, 600 views, 300, 150 views. And I'm like, these are such nice people. They put so much time, but they don't really understand what's working for TikTok. Or maybe it's just not super popular. Hair may be popular on TikTok. I don't know. But that's what's working for me. Mm-hmm. Now, what's interesting is I posted 3 videos in the last week, and they've all been, to me, duds. 40,000, 50, 60, whatever. Usually it's 800,000, a million, 2 million. So to me, I'm like, what's going on? You know what I mean?
How do the duds affect you? Do they oh, I just got to put out another one, just got to put another one, how do you
It's so random. I literally am like, okay, I got to make a TikTok. The production time for making a TikTok for me is probably less than 2 minutes. All right.
Crazy.
Same thing on my YouTube channel. I'm literally a machine. Okay. I'm a machine when it comes to creating my content, because I used to hire people, right, years ago, and I don't want to wait 2 weeks for a damn 5-minute video. Okay. So I learned how to shoot and edit myself. I've invested tens of thousands of dollars into gear, which a lot of it's sitting around collecting dust. But I mean, I've invested so much into gear and learning how to edit so that literally now I call myself the one take king. Everything in one take, right? You've seen it.
One take.
One take. I can shoot my hair videos in one take, a 5-minute video, one and done, get on the computer, edit it, and within a half an hour to, I would say an hour, fully uploaded, rendered, ready up on YouTube. And I schedule it. So Monday through Friday, I post videos 5 days a week.
Damn. And how long have you been on that schedule?
I would say a couple years now, because I used to
Damn.
float around 3 days a week.
Yeah.
It's a lot, man. It's a lot. And I honestly get a little bit tired of like, oh my God, what else can I do? You know what I mean? But there's always content to be made. With like Cobra Kai just came out.
Yeah.
I'm doing the hair recreations of characters or the actors because they all want to see it.
Yeah.
And it's very popular. I've watched it. I'm addicted to it. So they all want to see the latest and greatest TikTokers.
You did the Stranger Things 2 thing, right, when it came out?
Well, I did Noah's hair for, Noah Schnapp. I did his hair. And then, unfortunately, the way I cut his hair in the show, they did like the bowl cut again on him, which I'm like, really? Why'd you do that? And it looks, because he's older now, it just didn't look the same. But he said something like everything else was for me, but the front they kept cutting that bowl cut, but everything else was for me basically. But I gave him a hair transformation when he came in, and he kept reaching out. Oh, can I get a haircut? You have to cancel haircut. And I said, I don't care who you are, I'm done. I can't take 9 cancellations in a row. You call me 5 minutes before, so you can't make it. You know what I mean? That's why I'm saying it's like, but yeah, that was super cool. But yeah, creating content like that really just helps boost. I think the image I took with him gave me like 4,000 Instagram followers. We took a picture together. I started getting stalkers because of him. You know what I mean? And then it's died out. They would just all want to know information about him. So that's what happens when you attach yourself. You get the opportunity to be with bigger people. I mean, the shout outs that I've had have been, Gary Vee, I'm in his not this book, but the one before.
Yeah.
I mean, his book, PewDiePie has shouted me out. Macklemore has remixed my video, like one of my YouTube videos.
That's crazy.
It goes on and on. I mean, it's cool,
Do you ever, so I kind of want to circle back to like when you first went to the Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week, because I was literally at Fashion Week last week.
Yes.
When you first stepped into that first show, because I know when I first went in there, I was super nervous. I kind of felt like, do I belong here? I had sort of like an imposter syndrome, right? Can you explain to do you remember what that felt like just walking into there the first time?
Yes. I mean, the process of getting a credential, you have to approve you, right? You have to apply for it unless you're getting brought in by a designer and you're working exclusively with them. Wherever the show is and whatever area it's in, you have full access because you're there already. You're in. But for me, I was just a press guy, and I had a couple credentials for myself and my camera person, and basically I walked in and it was like after you get your credentials, you walk in at back then it was at Lincoln Center. Now it's all over the city, different places, but everything is at Lincoln Center for the most part. You walk in Lincoln Center, you have your credential, and it's just you see TVs everywhere and makeup booths, brands everywhere, and then all the shows are spread out into different little areas. So what you do is you either wait online with all the other press to get into your first show, which could be like a line of 20 deep. You show up early, you get in, and basically it's just a room with the runway and all the chairs, and they're prepping, and the model walks, the pre-walks, and all that stuff. And as a media person, you basically have to find a spot on the riser. Yeah. The riser is like
you gotta sit
free
there.
for all.
Yeah.
People will hurt you and kill you to get a spot. Then there's always the people who sit in the front row. So as a video person, I found a spot that was not in the very, very front, but where I had a little bit higher angle on the media riser. Got my spot. You get the occasional person who's in front of you who's like, oh, but you have to adjust. You're like sardines. Mm-hmm. But then, before that even starts, and you get your spot, everyone's walking in before the show starts. You have about 15 minutes to scout the room, the front row of who you can get. And in that time, it's very tactical stuff, man. In that time frame, you got to jump around, find this one, find that one, and then run back to the riser when the show starts. And if you get backstage or a designer brings you on, you have access backstage. That's the money. But you have to have a relationship with the designer. I don't know who you were working with, a designer?
So we were working with a brand that does the logistics for all the events.
Wow.
Yeah. So
wow.
It's crazy.
Were you working directly for New York Who was running it?
So last week it was through Mac Cosmetics,
Okay.
and then the logistics company.
Sweet.
Yeah, so different clients, but it's funny because we had multiple shows that day.
Right.
So Thomas came in, helped me out,
Yeah.
covered for me the last few hours, and yeah, so we were just in the city, just running around last week. It was crazy.
It's a grind. And I did that for, what was it, 4 years?
It's exhausting.
It's exhausting. You have to show up, 5, 6 in the morning. And I was very lucky because I earned access because I kept showing up. So designers got to know me. I was putting out videos all the time, and people loved the way I was making videos because I was showing the full runway show, interviewing the designers, talking about hair. I was doing something very unique that no one else was doing. And that's what was setting me apart.
Now, when you were first going out there, even like maybe the first few times, were there moments where you were like, what am I doing here? Or is this me? Is this too much? Am I going too far out the way for things?
It's an interesting question that sounds like it's a, is it worth it kind of question. This is so much work. And there were times where I would literally be on that meteorizer and I was like euphoric. I was so happy to be there. You hear the music, you get in these money shots. I was like, I am so happy. Then there's times where it's raining out and you're walking around in a suit, walking 7, 8 blocks with all your damn camera gear saying, why am I even doing this?
Yeah.
But that's why you do it, because you get that euphoric moment, that opportunity that most people don't want to do. Yeah. But keep in mind, anyone who's in these types of opportunities that we all get, they weren't handed to us. All right? So most people don't want to put the work in to get these opportunities. And I've had, I can't even countless opportunities that because of the hard work that have come my way. But that's the same thing with everybody else. It just depends on how far you're willing to go, but also what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
You don't have to do all that if you're not trying to
Yeah.
Like if you're not trying to build something up. You can just go to a fashion show if you want and be like a blogger,
And so like, you obviously interact with like a lot of famous people. Do you have like a tip for people that are like trying to, because it is super like scary to walk up to a famous person like, hey, can I get a photo? Can I just do, what do you do to kind of overcome that?
That's a great question, man. And so I've learned that I just am myself. I joke with them. You have to sell yourself within seconds. So I would say like, hey, I'm Steven, a salon guy. I'm working with a designer here. I'm interviewing people about hair and fashion, and can I just, can we get an interview? And they're used to doing that because everyone's trying to interview them. Some say no, some say yes. Yeah. But I've also witnessed people try to pitch themselves and get turned down because of the way they did it. Yeah. They were so salesy, and they just were awful. No personality. I'd walk up, introduce myself. Hey, I'm Steven. Nice to meet you. You're awesome. I watch all your shows. Like, can I get an interview with you? Is that cool? Like, just talk to them like people. Once you get them, and I've had people tell me this who have been standing behind me while I'm interviewing these people. They're like, dude, when you interview, you bring people into your world where it's like just you and them. It's so crazy. Like, you almost feel like there's nothing else around and you're having a conversation with them. You bring them into your little world, whether it's for 30 seconds, a minute. But I'm myself, man. Yeah. That's it. Now, obviously, you want to get to the point. You want to ask them a question. My question was, what's most important to you, hair, makeup, or clothing? And they'd be like, ooh. Well, if it was a female, I would ask that. But like, if it was a guy, I'd be like, what's your style? What kind of clothes you like to wear? Like, is hair important to you, or is clothing more important to you? And they'd be like, oh man, no one asked them that. Instead of like, who are you wearing today? I would just be myself. I would joke with them. And if anyone wants to watch, there's a great video with Alyssa Milano and I of me basically flirting with her for like 5 minutes.
We'll link it down below.
It was during Fashion Week, and it was just, I had her so engaged that literally after I was done with her, I saw her turn away like 2 people. But my also claim to fame is my joking. I'm saying, hey, I'm a bald guy, and let's talk about hair. They're like, oh my God.
That's such like it's like you wouldn't think those two go together, but that's probably what attracts a lot of people to you is the fact that it's different.
Different, dude. Different is what sells, man. Different, creative, authentic. I've been next to major news organizations, and they send these reporters in, and it's like, first of all, they're not even on camera. They just have the mic out. Mm-hmm. But they're just they're duds, dude. They're all duds. They're so lame. Yeah. Then they come to me. I'm like, all right, man, let's party. Let's go. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, and I used to want those jobs. I want to be the guy working for like, guy. Yeah, I want to be the one working for like the huge companies and all that stuff. But I'm like, no, because they're not even seeing me. I'm a media personality. I got to be out there. So But yeah, as you can see, I can talk.
Oh yeah. So you've done a lot now.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything you pull inspiration from nowadays? Any other creators? Just anything, or is it just all just internal?
It's I think a lot of it's internal because I've gotten this far based off of all that, pulling from resources, internal stuff. I pray every day. I also have no expectations. I used to always ask why when I would get a no. The first thing, why? And then someone said, stop saying why and start saying thank you to everything that happens. I'm like, what do you mean? Like even the bad stuff? He goes, even the bad stuff, just start being grateful and being thankful for everything.
Yeah.
And stop expecting things to happen. So once I had that, it took a couple of months, but once I ingrained that mindset, it's like a spiritual release of always being open to anything coming your way.
Yeah.
And that's how I live right now. And I randomly get crazy things happening without any expectations. Sometimes I'll go months, nothing happens. And then all of a sudden I'll be like, someone's like, oh, I just saw you on TV. I'm like, what are you talking about? Timothy Chalamet. You know Timothy Chalamet?
Yes.
He was on this French TV show, which is equivalent to like the Today Show.
Mm-hmm.
They literally made him watch my haircut tutorial of him on TV. And it was crazy. And I had no idea they'd even reach out to me. But I started getting tagged on YouTube, and I watched this thing. I was like, I cannot believe it was like a 5-minute thing about me doing the hairstyle of Timothy Chalamet. And he was like, wow, that's interesting, and it was random things like that'll happen out of nowhere. You can't expect those things. But I think just the inspiration comes from knowing like the payoff, I mean, I read a lot of books, I read a lot of, or watch a lot of YouTube stuff. Gary was a big one for me, but even I had Gary overload. After a while, it's like, all right.
It's the same shit after.
Same, it's like, okay.
Same values.
Yeah. I mean, which are all kind of core and essential. Mm-hmm. But, Sadhguru.
Yeah.
I like Sadhguru. I like stuff like that. Sometimes you have to, it's more about the mindset more than just like the tactical business stuff, which is all very, very important too.
Yeah.
I also have a very interesting background. I did law enforcement and firefighting. So I did 6 years of that. So I've had some pretty intense training, and I try to make everything pretty tactical with what I do, even on production stuff. That's why I admire you guys, because I've been on many, many jobs, right? Many production jobs. And you ever work with someone who's like a turtle?
Yes.
It's like, okay, we've been here for 45 minutes. Press the record button.
Yeah.
When I first started working with you, I said, oh my God, thank you. Quick, efficient, get the job done, in and out, pack up.
All right.
And that's how you have to be. So with anything I do, it's very, very tactical, even to this day with my YouTube stuff. Film it, record it, edit it, time frame, done. Yeah. Move on to the next thing. You have to be tactical if you want to be successful, I think, in today's society. You want to be efficient. You want to be, that's stuff that you're remembered for. That's why people will hire you.
Definitely.
Joey and his team, oh man, they were incredible. They came in, you were on time. They were wrapped up, and we couldn't believe how fast they wrapped up. I mean, exactly. That's what sells you, you know?
It's all about the customer service at the end of the day.
Yeah. You're providing an experience. Like you meant, the nice compliment you gave me, you have to be memorable.
Yeah.
What are you doing that people will remember? And it's all about being a nice person. Exactly. Shake someone's hand, say thank you, show gratitude. Yeah. Niceness sells.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah,
and then you take that too. You take that when you're at Fashion Week. You take that with you when you're at the gym, at the grocery store.
Yeah.
Anywhere you go, I feel like if you
Everywhere.
have that same mindset, that same attitude, you can't lose.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
I feel like some people they either get the dream job or they get into the dream position to be in the environment they want it to be, and then they're there and they don't take it. They don't realize that's the part where the work really starts.
Do you ever meet someone where you wonder, how did this person get this job? Or this role?
Yeah.
You're the head of marketing and you're a doorknob, for God's sakes. You have no personality. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or the PR person. It's just like, so sometimes I've questioned that a lot too, But yeah, man, it's been a long journey. A lot of people say 1 million subscribers, it's life-changing. It's cool, but YouTube is a very, very specific type of animal. I treat everything differently. TikTok is very different than YouTube. Instagram, I'm kind of slacking on a little bit, but you have to post on everything. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, but it all depends. You have to have a purpose of why you're doing YouTube, because I have my hair product company, which I brought gifts for you guys.
Ooh, let's go.
And I know you're a big hair guy. I mean, you have
He's
good
a
hair.
big-
You're a big hair
big
guy. I
hair
know.
guy.
Yeah, you got more hair than the three people
see?
combined.
Yeah, I know.
But the one thing I'll let you guys, but this right here, this is my #1 selling product called Tidal Wave.
Ooh,
it's
is that
a sea salt spray.
Yes.
This is it'll give you the most volume you've ever had. It smells like the beach, and it's on Amazon. It's on my website, shop.thesalonguy.com. It's all over the place. So you guys can split this, but I have a whole bunch of, styling products. I've got like some paste. This is a matte pomade. I have this is some really the packaging is pretty cool. So I have a whole bunch of styling products that you can split amongst yourselves. He'll probably hog them all.
I do have the most. We'll do
You
it
have
after
good
portion.
hair.
Definitely will.
You have
Definitely
a
will.
product head of hair. You need product for that kind of his hair. You know what I
I'm
mean?
gonna get a haircut today.
So what's one piece of advice you would give your past self, and one piece of advice you would give your future self?
Past self, don't party as much. No, I mean, I did some risky things when I was younger. I don't know if we even talked about this. So you mentioned I've done a lot of things, okay? I used to be a nightclub DJ for many, many years.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
You gotta try to find some photos of that.
Photos. I mean, I can send you some videos and stuff, but I mean, I'm lucky to be alive. Let's just put it that way, okay? Before being a nightclub DJ, I was one of those like DJ crew guys in high school. I was in Clubhouse Productions. Have you heard of Clubhouse? All Filipinos know Clubhouse. It's a Filipino, it was literally the DJ crew that kind of started everything, okay? And I was like the only white guy in the whole thing. I also grew up with a Filipino family, my best friend's family, so I'm very familiar with the culture. I fit right in, and I was a DJ with them. I had to prove myself and mixing on records and stuff. And then it went from that to just doing clubs. And then my biggest break was the Limelight in 1992. You both weren't born yet.
I was born.
1992. Have you heard of the Limelight ever?
No.
The Limelight was like Studio 54, but in like the 80s, 90s. It was techno, raves. It was literally the most controversial nightclub of its time as things progressed. And I was DJing there. And I used to lie to my family. I'm going over a friend's house. Meanwhile, I was in the city, coming home at 7 a.m., not even sleeping, and then going to school on whatever I was on. Okay, I was on a few things back then. You know what I mean? But I used to drive in Manhattan with the cars in front of me, like the taxi lights. I would go, "Oh, look, the cars are smiling at me." That's
That's a good
I'm
time.
lucky to be alive, man.
Yeah.
It's actually was a good time, but all I can say is I'm so lucky, and the people with me in the car are lucky to be alive, because you don't want to be driving around, messed up.
No shot.
But anyway, yeah. So I was a nightclub DJ, and everything you do is all about an experience. So I don't regret anything I've done. I've done so many crazy things in my past. Hung out with the wrong people, gotten in trouble because of being a nice kid, hanging around with the wrong crowd, and so I wouldn't say anything to my past self. I would just say, just be yourself. I wish I would have learned a little more about like being an adult much sooner, because growing up Italian, I'm Italian and German. I was adopted into an Italian family at a very young age. Italians want to keep you in the house till you're about 60. Then they'll let you go.
My mom would, she'd have me for the rest of her life.
They want you in the
She
house,
could.
trust me.
Yeah.
So, I was very fortunate. Went to private school and all sorts of stuff. I was very, very fortunate how I was raised. But at the same time, they didn't teach me how to be an adult and to be mature and independent at a younger age. That's the only thing I wish I would have learned. But my future self, I would say, that's an interesting one, because nowadays, when everyone says, "Oh, what's your 10-year goal? What's your 15-year goal?" Who the hell knows if we're going to be on this damn planet in 15 years?
Exactly.
I'm like, I'm just hoping to be okay next month. I mean, so I would love to sell, my Salon Guy company at some point, sell the brand, do okay, not have to work so hard, enjoy life, focus on golf a little bit more. But yeah, I mean, that's my long-term goal really, is just to sell whatever I can. You want to make me an offer, Joey? That's fine. But,
Salon Joe.
yeah. I mean, the products are moving. It's steady income, but you have to take over the YouTube channel and shave your head.
Oh damn.
But
Bye-bye hair.
But anyway, yeah. So I would just say, just keep at it, keep living like you're living. I'm single right now, and I can only say the only girl I can afford is my dog right now. Because And then when Julia was working with me, that was 2 women I can afford. That was it. But I have friends that are married, girlfriends, they live with their girlfriends, and they're like, oh man, don't you miss having a girlfriend and this and that? I'm like, first of all, I've been with enough, okay? I'm not desperate for women at that point. I've been with plenty. I'm so happy that I can come home, do whatever the heck I want, when I want. I want to play video games. I'm kind of a video game geek. Girls don't like dudes who play video games, unless like they're into it, but I can do whatever I want, when I want. I'm very happy with that, If I want to go out and have a good time, fine. I like being independent. That's me. I mean,
I feel like a lot of entrepreneurs are that way too.
But it's all, Joey, not to cut you, it's also a very dark road, man. Being an entrepreneur, I've become kind of a loner. And sometimes I feel it's detached me from a lot of people, man.
It's tough to find people that genuinely understand what it is, because you have a lot of people that are like, oh no, I love what you do and I love that you're doing your own thing. But then when you're really deep in what you're doing and you're days into it, and at times you could just be to yourself for 5 days straight doing what you do because there's just something inside of you that's telling you to do that. A lot of people can't really relate to that just because it's not everyone takes that route. There is some dark things that come with chasing your own thing.
I think you're doing a good job though with like your mental health. You're starting to play golf. You're starting to do things like for yourself.
Yeah,
it's great.
Mental health is an interesting one because there's times I'm burnt out. I'm like, I don't ever want to look at a damn mannequin ever again. I don't want to hold scissors ever again. I'm sick of it. But and it's interesting trying to go into a different profession like golf. Most people would say like, there's not a lot of money in golf unless you're playing like PGA Tour, but even them as a golf professional, like unless you're winning tournaments,
really
it's brutal.
Yeah.
I mean, and if you're working as a country club professional, it's not the greatest money. Some people, it's fine. They're happy with that. Great for you. They're living their life. They're happy with that amount. That's totally fine. Once you start to reach a certain amount of income, you can't drop that low.
There's no turning back.
There's no turning back. So for me, I have to be careful that I still have to nurture the salon guy, because once I go in on something, I'm so passionate and I go overboard.
Laser focus.
Like I go so in. Even my friends are like, dude, like anytime you do something, you're like an animal over this stuff, bro. You're like obsessed with it, and that's how I am. I probably could have saved myself a lot of money by not being that way, but at the same time, it's like you live once, dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm starting to live by that. Like I met some dude who was retired. He had some gorgeous like convertible Mercedes, and I'm like, dude, that thing is beautiful. I said, is that a retirement car? He's like, yeah, it's my retirement car. And he goes, I had thoughts about it, and he goes, you know what? I'm 70-something years old. I live once. I want the damn car. I can afford it. Why not?
Why not?
So I'm starting to live my life like that. Like, you know what? I don't spend money on stupid things, but like, if I want to enjoy something, I live once.
Exactly. And I feel like once you have that mentality, you're so much more free.
Yeah.
It's just like whatever happens. I'm going to treat myself. But I'm also going to work hard.
But it's also interesting, like we just mentioned, it's a dark side because it can get kind of depressing as an entrepreneur. And most people, so there's a book called Me Inc. by Gene Simmons, from Kiss, the band Kiss, Gene Simmons. It's called Me Inc. It's all about making you the brand. And in the book, I read the book, it was one of the most incredible books on branding. And he goes, you have to detach yourself from all those people, whether it's family, friends, because they don't understand what it's like to do what you're doing. And you have to just detach yourself from them because they're just negative. They're going to draw your energy away, and you just have to make those sacrifices. And at one point, I started apologizing to friends, like old friends. I was like, I'm sorry that I'm not in touch with you anymore. It's just, and some people are like, that's cool. But, if I got one, we're like, yo, let's go to the bar 5 nights a week. I'm like, dude, things have changed. But you have to make sacrifices. Yep. And it can get kind of lonely and depressing because you live in this bubble. I live in a bubble, man, where it's like nonstop grinding. I wake up on my phone at like 4 a.m., 5 a.m. on the phone. Right before I go to bed, on the phone. I work 24/7. Even in my sleep, I'm working, believe it or not.
Yeah.
We all work in our sleep. If you're an entrepreneur, you're waking up to something.
There is no clocking out. Like you said, someone could call you at any time, and it's up to you if you want to answer or not. But it's still like there is something about, having your downtime and just something popping up on your phone.
Yeah.
Your mind immediately goes into work mode. You start thinking about everything. Anxiety levels might go up a little bit. And then from there, your mental just takes that role for the rest.
And
of
I think this is important too. Like for our podcast, dude, I feel like this is more of like a therapy session for creatives, entrepreneurs. We're providing values too, but just like being present, being in the moment. None of us are checking our phones. You know what I mean? Like there's shit going on in both of our business. I'm sure, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's. I think this being present, being in the moment is kind of why we even like started this podcast to begin with.
This is amazing. I mean, you guys are. I mean, you're like the new modern version of what needs to be done. I mean, you're not just a production company. You're taking it that step further to do all this type of stuff.
Yeah.
And I commend you on that because
it's not like we're getting paid for this shit. You know what I mean? It's like we're doing it to provide value.
Yeah.
We're doing it for us. We're doing it to hone our skills. There's just.
But you know what? That brand who sees this, the Dysons or whoever, they're going to be like, we want to hire them because of what this is doing. And you can't expect it to happen, like I mentioned. Yeah. But when you put it out there, you just never know who will see this and be like, wait, they're a production company, but we as a company don't even have this kind of culture going on. Yeah. You know what I mean? This is the stuff that ends up cycling back and landing deals, this type of stuff. Yeah. And I've learned that myself. One thing that's become a bit stressful is money, right? Money is a big stress factor. The more money you make, the more it's just like this. Government, hey government, ching, ching, cha-ching. Money, I'm starting to hate money, okay? Because the more you make, the more it's just, and I have, the expenses are just astronomical. It's ridiculous. I've got hair product manufacturing. I've got my studio. I mean, we all have rents and stuff. But when you're doing manufacturing and, I have a bill for, $17,000 in manufacturing I have to pay. And then, okay, I'm done. Oh, wait, $50,000 was just taken out of my bank for taxes. It's like, what the, I mean, where's the money? Where is it? And it's just, so sometimes I feel like if you are someone who's making a decent salary and you get to keep all that stuff and you can get all the benefits, there's nothing wrong with working a normal job. Nothing wrong with that. And if you're happy, you're getting taken care of, that's super cool. Yeah. You just have to understand that the more money you make, sometimes it's... You get to see it all,
People always glorify being an entrepreneur, but like, so there are times where I envy my friends that have a 9 to 5. They're off on Friday at 5.
Paid vacation? What the hell is that?
Yeah, right? All the time. I say it all the time.
Well, I mean, so let me ask you guys, what are you seeing other companies, and because I'm curious, what are other companies hiring you for? Are they hiring you guys to make TikToks? Or are you telling them, like, you can just do it on your phone in 5 minutes? Like, what are you starting to see?
So it's funny. For Mac last week, we basically went to New York Fashion Week to create TikToks. Yeah.
And they're Mac.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't have an in-house person doing that?
No, they want the best.
Now, were you doing on your phones?
No, we had our cameras and all of our gear. But just that level up, shooting vertically now is we shoot a lot of stuff vertically.
And the C70 does that pretty
exactly.
much.
It's crazy.
The only thing about the C70 I don't like is where you put the... You screw in the bottom.
Oh, yeah, and you can't get the card out.
Exactly. Yeah. That's the only thing that I'm like, oh.
C70 Mark II, maybe. We'll see.
Yeah. I'm done buying cameras. Yeah. I want you to buy some of my cameras. I'm done buying cameras. I have Cine lenses. You need Cine lenses?
Maybe eventually. We've just been buying.
Do you have any Cine lenses?
No, not right now.
Have you? I'm sure you filmed on a Cine lens.
Oh, yeah. We rented a bunch. Yeah, 100%.
Like the big massive.
The 35, the 85, yeah.
Crazy. Those lenses are like $3,000, $4,000 each.
Yeah.
And I have 3 of them sitting around.
Fucking business costs.
But yeah, it's like you're saying, it's it gets very costly, and the fact that you did that Mac is huge, man.
Exactly.
Have you started putting these out? They're probably
so one of them got put out so far, and the engagement was crazy. And it's for all their international like influencers and things like that.
And they're posting on their stuff.
Yeah.
Are they tagging you or probably?
No, we didn't get tagged. No, we'll see. Tag us in the next one, please.
I know.
Please tag us. But no, even just like making those relationships, it's like
now this is something that a lot of people don't hear about is the behind the scenes stuff working with brands.
Yeah.
Like with that Dyson job we had. I mean, the amount of behind the scenes stuff and approvals and change this and say that was because I was on camera, right? So it was crazy. What was it like with them? Who came up with the concepts? Was it an in-house concept from them, or they gave you free reign?
They kind of just gave me free reign because
Really?
we've done events for them in the past, and they've seen our work. They're like, hey, just kind of do the same thing.
Really?
Yeah, and we're just like, all right, we'll be there.
Oh my gosh. Was everything like a one and done with these TikToks, or like as far as shooting them and that's what you?
No, so we went to like a bunch of different places. We went to like backstage at the Puma show. We went to like their corporate offices. We went to the Soho location. One of them did a class. So we're just getting BTS of all of it and just putting it together into like one reel.
So this is getting access. Were you there too?
Yeah, I was there for a night.
Getting the access is what everybody wants. Everyone wants
the CEO
access.
of Mac was there, which is crazy.
Everyone wants access, right? Backstage access. When you're in production, you have free reign. Once you have that credential, you can do whatever the hell you want.
Run around.
The house credential. Once you have the house credential, you're good. And you get access. Did you see celebrities in the back?
We got.
Did you film with them?
Yeah, exactly what we did. I walk up to them. Hey, can I get a photo? Hey, can I get a quick clip? Yeah, exactly.
And then you sell yourself. Hey, we're with Mac.
We'll tag you guys, take a look at it. And then even at the shows too, the influencers that are coming up, their managers will come up to me like, hey, who are you with? Can you take a photo of this person? And then you could even network, even if you're first starting off, you can network with people that are on the same level with you and grow with them as well.
And what you do as a little side hustle, you sneak in one for yourself. Because you put that on your social media, like with whoever it is. Mm-hmm. Hey, bro, let me get a quick picture with you too. You know what I mean? Like from my Instagram. Yeah. Oh, sure, man, sure. Because remember, they attach yourself to much bigger.
Exactly.
The person who gave me that advice, I would see him on social media with all these big people. I would say, how are you meeting these people?
Yeah. Exactly.
And everyone was drawn to him because he was with 8 million celebrities.
Yeah.
So you got to sneak in some of that sometimes. Be a little selfish, you know what I mean?
Definitely. You have to.
With good intent, obviously, but you know.
And,
of course.
And it's funny. It's not like fake it till you make it, but you're there in those events. You know what I mean? Once you start putting out stories and showing people where you are, it's crazy how many inquiries you get.
What do you think people need to do more nowadays for content creation? Like, what are you seeing the struggle?
I think they just need to put it out on more of a consistent basis. For us especially, because like we're creating content for a bunch of different brands, a bunch of different companies. For us to step back and make content for ourselves, it takes a lot. You know what I mean? But we're trying to be consistent. Honestly,
I don't know if you have it in-house. Your own content guy. Do you have a content person pretty much?
He's right there.
So sometimes that's what happens when you get too big or too busy.
Yeah.
You have to bring on someone who can maybe he goes behind the scenes with you.
Yeah.
And that's what,
exactly.
Getting your own stuff.
Yeah.
Behind the scenes of your own behind the scenes. You know what I mean?
Exactly. We try to do as many behind the scenes as we can. It's just creating.
Yeah. And you guys post, I mean, you're doing a great job. I don't really follow a whole bunch of production companies. Mm-hmm. But because we follow each other and we're friends and stuff, I always see your stuff come up. I'm like, yeah, they're doing it, man.
And I'm trying to be like you, where I'm still only 5 years deep into doing this full time. I'm trying to be at that 10-year mark, that 15. You know what I mean?
But this stuff is what adds on to the portfolio.
Yeah,
exactly.
And it's good to get your perspective too, because you've been doing this. You've seen the internet grow so much, and even like Gary Vee started off like wine library, like SEO stuff, and now he's seen the evolution of the internet, and just getting insight for someone who's been in it for so long, it's just so valuable.
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of like rare nowadays. I'm sure a lot of people will be like 3 years in, maybe a few years in, because things are really now starting to kick up. But to get someone that's really been in it from the start of
the internet,
I'm a dinosaur.
YouTube and
the Buddha
to really like. Consistency was your thing.
Yeah,
I feel like that's your bread and butter right there.
The last time I saw Gary in person, I mean, it was a number of years ago. It was at Wine Library, and big hug and this and that, and I said, man, he goes, dude, look how far you've come. I told you since day one, patience. He goes, look how far you've come just by being patient. Yeah. I said, you're right, but patience is also difficult, man. Patience is very, very painful. I've been patient for 14 damn years, all right? So most people won't be patient for like a month.
Yeah.
Patience is really, really brutal. And you have to be strong internally for it.
I think people don't really understand how long they're supposed to be patient for. And that's like a big thing.
The thing is patience, you can't, like you said, no expectations. Yeah. No expectations. Just do what you do. Everything will happen for a reason.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Well, when people say to me, do you have patience? I go, well, unfortunately, I'm not a doctor. I have no patience. No.
Dad jokes.
Here we go.
All right, to wrap it up, that camera, give us a quote. Any quote.
This camera right here.
Right there.
Be yourself because everyone else is already taken.
That's Steven the Salon guy. Thank you so much, Steven.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Appreciate it. My man, that was fucking